Our behaviour is affected by the four currencies. They are alpha, that place when you go when you are daydreaming or distracted, mind and body in two different places. Habits, something you do every day. Time versus risk choices. Human beings are time-saving machines. And finally, personal risk perception. The fact that human beings don't see themselves as having accidents. And actually, that's a really good thing, because otherwise you'd never want to leave your house. Any one of the four currencies by themselves could create an unsafe behaviour which could lead to an injury. As more of them interact, the worse the potential outcome becomes. The more we undertake potentially risky tasks without incident, the safer we think they are. This shows how our personal risk perception has changed, but the actual risk has stayed the same, making us feel like superheroes. Just think about how you felt and behaved the first time you drove after passing your test, to how you drive now. The more confident you feel means that when faced with the opportunity to cut a corner and save a little time, you're much more comfortable with taking a little bit of risk. It doesn't take many of these for it to become an unsafe habit. Habits aren't necessarily bad things. 99.7% of what we do is in this autopilot state of mind, with little conscious thought involved. This is fine in a safe environment, where we have safe habits, but can have serious consequences in higher risk situations if we have some unsafe ones, especially when we drift off into alpha, where our mind and body are in two different places. Because our risk awareness changes when we drift off into alpha, we are not necessarily aware of the risk that we are taking. We are literally designed through the way the mind works, to become complacent to almost everything we do. When our personal risk perception of the task is low, we put ourselves at risk, especially by taking shortcuts if there are time versus risk pressures. Because nothing happens to us on that occasion, we repeat this behaviour and it starts to become an unsafe habit. When we're in alpha, which we're in and out of all day, our brains run on our habits, which means if we've created an unsafe habit, we've now fallen into the complacency trap, where we're at greater risk of injury. We know that none of us set out to make unsafe choices. We know that we care about keeping ourselves and our teammates safe. When you look at why somebody got hurt, you'll always find numerous opportunities where a simple talk safe or a friendly reminder could have prevented someone from getting hurt. So this is where you come in. None of us are deliberately unsafe, and any one of us could fall into this trap. Which is why we need each other. It's the people we work with who are in the best position to recognise when we are doing something unsafe. We have proved when we care enough to make unsafe conditions safe, care enough to talk to each other, to listen to each other, and change our unsafe habits to safe habits, that zero is indeed possible.